The Silent Vanguard. The Galactic Assembly Hall on Centauri Prime gleamed with the polished perfection of a civilization thousands of years beyond Earth's achievements. Captain Maya Rise stood at attention, her midnight blue uniform bearing only the small silver insignia of the United Earth Defense Force, deliberately understated compared to the ornate regalia of the other species represented. The humans request additional defensive capabilities for their outer colonies, announced the assembly moderator, a tall Lyrican whose translucent skin pulsed with bioluminescent communication patterns. This marks their 7th petition this standard cycle. Soft murmurs rippled through the gathered representatives, most tinged with amusement. Maya kept her face carefully neutral, though her jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. From his elevated position in the chamber, Ambassador Vornful of the Zurich hegemony leaned forward, his massive frame dwarfing the reinforced chair beneath him. The Zurich were among the oldest spacefaring species, their silicon-based biology allowing them to survive conditions that would obliterate most carbon-based life. Their technological supremacy had gone unchallenged for millennia. Again, the infants' cry for attention. Vornful's voice boomed through the hall, translator devices struggling to convey the natural harmonic resonance of Zurich speech. Barely 2 centuries since they stumbled upon fusion energy, and they believed themselves ready for gravitic distortion weaponry. Laughter echoed across the chamber. Maya noted which species joined in the mockery and which remained silent. Information worth reporting. The Zurich hegemony reminds our esteemed human colleagues that technological development follows natural progressions. Your species has yet to demonstrate mastery of basic spatial manipulation. Your current defensive systems are proportionate to your development level. Vornful continued. Perhaps in another century, the Assembly might reconsider. The Assembly moderator turned to Maya. Does Earth's representative wish to respond? Maya stepped forward. She had rehearsed this moment countless times, knowing exactly what role she needed to play. Earth acknowledges the Assembly's wisdom, she said, her voice steady. We merely express concern about the increasing raids on frontier colonies. The Yutani settlement lost 3,000 lives last month alone. Tragic, but not unexpected, Vornful interjected. Frontier existence carries inherent risks. Your species insists on expanding before securing your existing territories. Such is the impulsiveness of youth. Maya bowed her head in apparent deference. We will redouble our conventional defense efforts then. A wise decision, the moderator concluded. Petition denied. Next matter of business. As Maya exited the chamber, she caught the eye of Krelza, the diminutive representative of the Arcani Federation. The Arcani, with their 4 eyes and mottled green skin, had also been relatively new to galactic politics once, several centuries ago. Krelza gave her the subtlest of nods before turning away. Aboard her shuttle returning to Earth's embassy, Maya activated the quantum-isolated communication system. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared, his weathered face showing no surprise at the outcome. Exactly as expected, Admiral, Maya reported. Petition denied, with the Zurich leading the opposition. And the Arcani. Representative Krelza made contact, as arranged. I believe they're ready to proceed with the alliance discussions. Chen nodded. The Tellarites and Morrigan have also indicated willingness. All species who face Zurich protection in the past century. Maya glanced out the viewport at the gleaming Centauri Prime orbital ring. The Zurich ambassador mentioned our basic spatial manipulation capabilities. They still believe our technological development follows standard patterns. A rare smile crossed Chen's face. Excellent. Their surveillance networks continue to see exactly what we want them to see. What about the Yutani colony attack? They dismissed it as a frontier hazard, as predicted. No acknowledgement of the pattern. Of course not. Because acknowledging the pattern would mean admitting that the Zurich are systematically clearing the edges of their territory, absorbing resource-rich systems through manufactured pirate attacks. Maya's shuttle entered Earth's embassy docking bay, a deliberately modest facility compared to the grand structures of older species. Phase 1 of Operation Phantom remains on schedule then. Indeed. In fact, you should prepare for acceleration. Our deep space monitoring network detected Zurich fleet movements consistent with a major offensive. We believe they're preparing to strike Titan colony next. Maya felt her blood run cold. Titan has over 50,000 civilians, precisely why we can't wait any longer. Return to Earth immediately. The Phantom Division is ready for deployment. 3 days later, Maya stood on the bridge of the ESS Harbinger, hidden deep within the asteroid belt of Earth's solar system. Unlike the bulky, functional ships of Earth's public fleet, the Harbinger represented humanity's true capabilities. Sleek, obsidian, and virtually undetectable to conventional sensors, it was the flagship of the Phantom Division, a fleet that officially did not exist. All 27 vessels report ready, Captain, announced Commander Jackson, her executive officer. Quantum drive signatures masked, gravitic shielding at full capacity. Maya studied the tactical display. For 15 years, while humanity played the role of technological adolescents on the galactic stage, Earth's best minds had been working on paths untaken by the ancient civilizations. The Zurich and their allies had developed their technologies along predictable lines for millennia, refining the same fundamental principles while overlooking alternative approaches. Humans, with their shorter lifespans and desperate need to catch up, had explored the roads not taken. The Arcani intelligence was correct, said Lieutenant Commander Okafor from the sensor station. Long-range gravitational distortion detectors confirm a Zurich battle group has entered the Saturnian subsystem. 12 capital ships, at least 30 support vessels. Status of Titan colony? Maya asked. Defensive systems activated, but they won't hold against a force that size. Evacuation protocols initiated, but they need time. Maya made the decision she had been prepared to make for years. Signal the fleet. Operation Phantom is now active. Alert our Arcani and Tellarite allies that the timetable has advanced. Throughout the asteroid belt, the ships of the Phantom Division activated their quantum drives. Not the conventional FTL systems the galactic community believed humans possessed, but an entirely different approach to space-time manipulation. One by one, they'd vanished from normal space. On Titan colony, panic spread as the massive Zurich warships entered orbit. Ambassador Vornthal's face appeared on emergency broadcast channels throughout the settlement. People of Titan colony, the ambassador's translated voice announced. The Zurich hegemony has determined that this region requires stabilization due to increasing pirate activity. For your protection, we are establishing a security presence. Please cooperate as our forces secure key infrastructure. In the colony's administration center, Governor Ellis watched with growing horror as Zurich landing craft began descending through Titan's thick atmosphere. The pattern matched exactly what had happened at Yutani and a dozen other frontier colonies before. First came the protection, then resource appropriation, and finally the disappearance of any locals who objected. Sir, his communications officer called out, emergency transmission from Earth Command. The message was brief. Hold position. Reinforcements inbound. Ellis almost laughed bitterly. Earth's conventional forces would take days to arrive, and even then would be no match for the Zurich Armada. That's when the sky changed. The Zurich vessels in orbit suddenly found themselves surrounded as 27 ships of the Phantom Division emerged simultaneously from quantum space. Not at the system's edge as galactic conventional FTL technology required, but precisely positioned in a perfect envelopment formation. Aboard the lead Zurich dreadnought, Supreme Commander Tholvac received frantic reports. Unknown vessels. They appeared from nowhere. Sensors detected no approach. Impossible, Tholvac growled. Identify them. Configuration suggests human design, Commander, but nothing like their known capabilities. On the Harbinger's bridge, Maya opened a channel to the Zurich flagship. Attention Zurich forces. This is Captain Maya Rise of the Earth Defense Force. Your presence here constitutes an act of war against Earth and its colonies. Withdraw immediately. Tholvac's image appeared on the main view screen, his silicon-based features arranged in what Maya recognized as contemptuous amusement. Captain Rice, your bravery is admirable but misplaced. These vessels may appear impressive, but the technological gap between our civilizations cannot be bridged by mere deception. Stand down, and we will spare your crews. Maya allowed herself a small smile. I'm afraid you've been operating under some misconceptions about human capabilities, Commander. Allow me to demonstrate. She nodded to Jackson. Phase disruptors, targeted demonstration. From the Harbinger's ventral section, a beam of concentrated energy, not the directed plasma weapons the galactic community believed was the pinnacle of human technology, but a phase disruptor that temporarily shifted matter into an unstable quantum state, lanced out toward an uninhabited section of the Zurich Dreadnought's hull. A perfect sphere of the Dreadnought's outer armor simply ceased to exist. The atoms themselves temporarily shifted into another dimensional plane. Stunned silence filled both bridges. That was 1/10 power, Commander Fulvac, Maya said calmly. Our next demonstration will not be aimed at an unoccupied section. Withdraw your forces immediately. The Zurich commander's features shifted rapidly, communicating with his subordinates through silicon-based electromagnetic signals. This technology is not possible. Your species cannot have developed phase manipulation to this degree. And yet here we are, Maya replied. I'll give you 1 standard hour to recall your landing parties and leave Saturnian space. After that, we will consider this an invasion force and respond accordingly. Across the system, similar scenes played out as other Phantom Division vessels demonstrated capabilities that the galactic community, particularly the Zurich, had believed were centuries beyond human development. On Titan's surface, colonists watched in awe as the Zurich landing craft hurriedly ascended back to their capital ships, their protective occupation abandoned before it had even properly begun. In the Galactic Assembly, emergency sessions were called as news spread of the confrontation. Ambassador Vornful found himself facing uncomfortable questions about the true purpose of the Zurich security operation. And aboard the Harbinger, Maya sent a simple message to Admiral Chen. Phase 1 complete. The silent vanguard has spoken. Part 2. Defiance among stars. The emergency session of the Galactic Assembly descended into chaos as Ambassador Vornful faced the assembled representatives. The massive view screen displayed multiple feeds from the Saturn system, where the Zurich battle group hung motionless, surrounded by ships that by all conventional understanding, humans should not possess. This is an outrage. Vornful thundered. The humans have violated the technology development accords. They have concealed their true capabilities, presented false information to this assembly, and now threaten a founding member species. The Lyrican moderator's bioluminescent patterns flashed with agitation. Ambassador Rice, how does Earth respond to these accusations? Maya, hastily recalled to the assembly via quantum communication link from the Harbinger, addressed the gathering. Earth acknowledges that we have developed technologies in secret. We did so because evidence indicated that the Zurich hegemony has been systematically attacking frontier colonies while disguising their actions as pirate raids. Baseless slander. Vornful interrupted. We have shared this evidence with the Arcani Federation, the Tellerate Consortium, and the Morrigan Collective. Maya continued calmly. All species whose territory borders Zurich space. All species who have lost frontier colonies in recent years. Representative Krelza of the Arcani rose. The Arcani Federation confirms receipt of this evidence and finds it compelling. We have experienced identical attack patterns on 7 of our frontier worlds in the past decade. One by one, representatives of smaller powers stood to corroborate Maya's claims. The assembly hall grew quiet as the pattern became undeniable. Furthermore, Maya added, we have confirmed that the Zurich fleet at Titan Colony deployed without assembly authorization, with the intent to occupy a sovereign human settlement. Their own communications, which we have intercepted and will provide to this body, confirm this was never a protective action. The moderator's luminescence pulsed rapidly. Ambassador Vornthal, these are grave accusations with substantial supporting evidence. How does the hegemony respond? Before Vornthal could answer, an aide rushed to his side, communicating urgently. The ambassador's silicon features hardened. This discussion is irrelevant, he finally declared. The Zurich High Command has determined that human technological development now represents a destabilizing threat to galactic security. A punitive fleet has been dispatched to the Sol system. Earth will be contained until the extent of their deception can be assessed. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Even in the contentious history of the Assembly, such a direct threat was unprecedented. Maya's expression remained unchanged. Admiral Chen anticipated your response, Ambassador. Perhaps you should check on the status of your punitive fleet. At the edge of the Sol system, 16 Zurich dreadnoughts, the largest concentration of their forces outside their home territory, emerged from FTL. Their mission was clear: bypass the human defenses at Saturn and proceed directly to Earth, establishing an orbital blockade that would force humanity's surrender. Instead, they found themselves facing not only the Phantom Division ships from Saturn, which had somehow arrived before them despite the Zurich's superior FTL technology, but also vessels of Arcani, Tellarite, and Morrigan design. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared on the Zurich command ship. This is Admiral Chen of United Earth Defense. Your unsanctioned military action against Earth has been anticipated and countered. You are now facing the combined forces of the Frontier Alliance, those species you have dismissed and exploited for generations. In the assembly hall, the massive viewscreen shifted to show the confrontation unfolding at the edge of the Sol system. Vornthal stared in disbelief as his species' most powerful fleet found itself surrounded. Impossible, he whispered. Our intelligence confirmed Earth's quantum communication technology was decades from development. How could they coordinate this response so quickly? Maya allowed herself a small smile. Ambassador, your intelligence on human capabilities has been carefully curated for the past 15 years. What you believed was our cutting-edge technology was merely what we allowed you to see. The assembly erupted again as the implications became clear. Humanity had not only developed in secret, but had been coordinating with other minor species, forming an alliance that had remained hidden from the dominant powers. In deep space, the confrontation reached its climax as the Zurich fleet commander faced an impossible decision: engage against overwhelming odds or withdraw and admit defeat. Your vessels are surrounded and outmatched, Admiral Chen stated flatly. The Frontier Alliance offers you safe passage back to your territory if you withdraw immediately. This offer expires in 5 minutes. Aboard the Harbinger, now positioned at the vanguard of the defensive formation, Maya watched the tactical display with Lieutenant Commander Okafor. Will they retreat? Okafor asked quietly. The Zurich have not faced a military defeat in over 1,000 years, Maya replied. Their cultural programming makes surrender almost impossible. As if confirming her assessment, the Zurich vessels suddenly powered weapons systems. All ships, defensive positions, Maya ordered. Engage phase shields. The Zurich opened fire, their particle lances, technology that had dominated galactic warfare for millennia, streaking toward the human and allied vessels. Instead of the devastating impacts they expected, the beams encountered the previously unseen phase shield technology of the Phantom Division. The energy simply disappeared into the quantum field barriers, causing no damage. Phase disruptors, full spread, non-lethal targeting, Maya commanded. Disable their propulsion and weapons systems only. Across the human line, precision beams lanced out, selectively removing key components of the Zurich vessels. Within minutes, the mighty punitive fleet hung dead in space, crews intact but vessels rendered incapable of either fighting or fleeing. In the assembly hall, the gathered representatives watched in stunned silence. For many of the older species, it was the first time in living memory that Zurich military might have been so completely neutralized. The moderator turned to Maya. Captain Rice, what are Earth's demands? Maya's response was measured. Earth requests three things. First, an independent investigation into the systematic attacks on frontier colonies by Zurich forces. Second, recognition of the Frontier Alliance as a legitimate political and defensive coalition. Third, a revision of the Technology Development Accords to prevent dominant species from artificially constraining the growth of newer civilizations. For several moments, silence held in the chamber. Then, unexpectedly, a representative of the Medusan synarchy, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, rose. The synarchy supports these requests, the ancient being announced, its translator rendering a voice like rustling leaves. For too long, the Assembly has allowed power to concentrate among a few. Perhaps it is time for new perspectives. One by one, other representatives indicated support, until even some traditional allies of the Zurich began to distance themselves from the hegemony's actions. Ambassador Vornthal, seeing the diplomatic landscape shift beneath him, attempted one final gambit. The humans have lied to this assembly for years. How can any of you trust what they say now? Maya met his gaze steadily. We concealed our capabilities because every time we presented evidence of attacks on our colonies, we were dismissed. Every time we requested defensive technology, we were denied. The established powers of this assembly left us with a choice: remain vulnerable or find our own path forward. She looked around the chamber. Humanity did not seek this confrontation. We sought only to protect our people and to offer that same protection to others who were similarly vulnerable. The Frontier Alliance was born of necessity, not ambition. 3 days later, Maya stood in Admiral Chen's office in the Earth Defense Headquarters, looking out at the Pacific Ocean. The Assembly had approved all three of humanity's requests, establishing an independent commission to investigate the frontier attacks and formally recognizing the Frontier Alliance. The Zurich delegation has been recalled to their homeworld, Chen informed her. Their leadership faces significant internal challenges now that their military aura of invincibility has been broken. Maya nodded, and our new standing in the galactic community. Changed forever, Chen replied, handing her a data tablet. We've received diplomatic requests from 17 species seeking either membership in the Frontier Alliance or technology exchange agreements. And the Phantom Division. Chen smiled. No longer Phantom. The Assembly has requested a full briefing on phase disruption technology. Their scientists are particularly interested in how we approached quantum manipulation from a completely different theoretical framework than the established powers. Maya set down the tablet and allowed herself a moment of reflection. They mocked us, dismissed us, thought us children playing with toys. And now they know what humanity has always understood, that being underestimated can be the greatest advantage of all. Outside the window, the first ships of the now public Phantom Division conducted training maneuvers, their obsidian hulls gleaming in the sunlight. No longer hidden, no longer silent, they were the visible embodiment of humanity's message to the stars. Underestimate us at your peril.